झूठी कार्रवाई, झूठे कागज, झूठे एविडेंस, लोगों को मार मार कर पीट पीट कर बनाए जा रहे हैं। ये सिर्फ महाराष्ट्र को कमजोर करने के लिए, शिवसेना को कमजोर करने के लिए, लेकिन शिवसेना कमजोर नहीं।
इतना समय उन्होंने पत्रकार वार्ताओं में गवाया, उससे यदि 1% भी समय वे जांच अधिकारियों के सवालों को जवाब देने के लिए खर्च करते तो शायद ये नौबत नहीं आती। नेता हो, अभिनेता हो, छोटा हो, बड़ा हो, सबके लिए कानून समान है।
Good evening, I'm Pallavi Ghosh, and they say there's never a dull day in Maharashtra politics, and it's certainly been a day full of drama and activity. 7 a.m. is when ED turned up at the residence of Sanjay Raut, and after a good 10 hours, Sanjay Raut was taken to the ED office, and technically he's not been arrested yet, but he has been detained. But if you thought that Sanjay Raut is going to be upset and he is going to be not defiant, well, he was completely an opposite of that. Very brazen, very defiant. He also challenged authorities that you keep me with you as long as you want. I'll never ever leave Uddhav Thackeray. He's being questioned in the Patra Chawl land scam case, but he has remained defiant, even daring the ED and going on to say that I'm going inside to be arrested. Uddhav Thackeray has slammed what he has called a conspiracy against the Shiv Sena. The BJP government said it was only acting according to the rule of law. Okay, now let's take a quick look on what is it that the ED is looking at. Why is the ED heat very much on the Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut? First of all, the raids went on for 10-hour long raids which took place at the Sena office, at the residence of Sanjay Raut, and just outside there was this entire narrative that he was trying to build up that there is a political witch hunt against him. Now, there are various cases which have been put up against Sanjay Raut. First of all, he's been accused of money laundering in the Patra scam, the Chawl Mumbai case. 1,034 crores is the kind of accusation which is then on him. He's also believed to have multiple properties in Alibag and Dadar, which have also now been attached. He also was summoned twice earlier, 20th of July, 27th of July, but he said that he was busy with the elections of the president and the parliament session, which is why he did not turn up. ED reads it as him not being cooperating with the investigations. Well, this is precisely the reason why early this morning ED turned up at his residence. In fact, there has been incriminating paper which seems to have been found at his residence, on the basis of which the Enforcement Directorate says that they do have a watertight case against him. But he has been speaking out very, very strongly, saying that this is a clear-cut case of a political agenda against me and I'm not going to bow under any pressure. In fact, he played the Maharashtra Manus card also by saying that this is exactly what Marathis are being targeted for and people of Maharashtra will be retaliating. Let me just go across to my colleagues who have been reporting through the day from the spot. Herman is joining us from outside the ED office. Herman, a quick update from you. Is this questioning still going on? Are you getting any cues or clues from your sources in the Enforcement Directorate?
Well, Pallavi, yes. In fact, it's almost 9:10 and the questioning still continues. What looks now almost 99% imminent is the arrest of Sanjay Raut, which could take place at any point in time. Through the day, what has transpired, if one looks at it, one is that the ED team lands at his home since he did not respond to the previous summons. After that, you had the seizures also that did take place, the money that was unaccounted for, more than £1 lakh Indian rupees from his home. He was questioned as to what was the source of this money, whether it was from banks, whether it was from payments, and there could not be satisfactory answers. Even before that, in the morning, when certain documents were allegedly seized from his home, He was asked, in fact, certain questions to which he did not cooperate, is what the Enforcement Directorate alleges. And now, just going by this late-night questioning, I can tell you, with having seen in the past to the ministers that have been either questioned or MLAs by the Enforcement Directorate, it looks very imminent that an arrest could be underway. Now, the basis the ground upon which could be A, the unaccounted cash force, second, his non-cooperation with the federal agency. Now, in case if this late-night arrest did take place, tomorrow there's a lot more drama expected because he would then be taken first for his medicals and after that being taken to the court, to the PMLA court, where the Enforcement Directorate will definitely seek for his custody. But what are going to be the grounds of defense from his lawyers? Another interesting day that is expected tomorrow. But for now, even as we speak, the question still continues. And it's anytime soon it is expected that probably in all likelihood an arrest could be announced.
Okay. Herman, I'm going to keep coming back to you later, but many thanks for now. Just do keep track of what's happening inside the ED so that arrest, according to Herman, may be announced officially anytime for now. Is the Enforcement Directorate, the investigative agencies, the CBI, now being used as a tool by the BJP and the central government to target the political opponents of the BJP? Well, opposition political parties certainly seem to be thinking so. Because in state after state, in political parties after political parties, whether it's been the Shiv Sena, whether it's the Congress party, and whether it's been the Trinamool Congress, all of them have been hit by this investigation. BJP, of course, says that it's just not acceptable when you put that allegation on us because we go by the law and it's an autonomous organization. Joining me this evening in this debate is Shweta Shalini of the BJP, Radhika Khera of the Congress Party, Raj Punj, who is a Shiv Sena leader, Chandrasekhar Nene, who is a political analyst, and Mr. S.M. Khan, who's also been with the CBI. I'm going to just start off with you first, Radhika, because I remember, saw you and many of your colleagues on the streets on the day Sonia Gandhi was being investigated or interrogated rather by the Enforcement Directorate. Why is it that when someone from the Gandhi family or someone from the political party is being questioned by the ED, you cry foul? Because when you guys were in power at the center, similar kind of investigations were taking place of your political opponents at that point of time.
Pallavi, I'm glad you asked me that question. Now, when we talk about why are we raising our voice that only the Congress or the other opposition parties are being targeted, that is bound to happen. Has anyone ever questioned Raman Singh and his son regarding the Panama Papers or the Naan Ghotala? Has anyone questioned any BJP leader regarding the paper scam in Madhya Pradesh? Cheap land was given to Mr. Adani at his port at 1 rupee per square meter, which was much lower than the market rate during the former Chief Minister of Gujarat, Mr. Rupani's tenure. Do you remember that huge scam of land change where 111 acres of land were changed from residential to commercial? Who is going to do the questioning? Recently, when the corona outbreak was happening, you were covering it and everybody saw that the nation was, everyone was helping everyone. But what was the BJP doing? Their leader in Himachal had to step down because he was accused of a PPE kit scam. Was any investigation taking place there? And also, has anyone ever questioned where and who paid for those MLAs who were taken from Maharashtra to Gujarat, from Gujarat to Assam, from Assam to Goa, then back to Maharashtra? You know, airfare is not cheap anymore. Who was paying for them? Who was paying for their hotels? Any investigation into all that? Zero. Okay. No investigation for anyone related to Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, his team, his leaders, or his friends, whether it's Mr. Adani. No question. But everything will be the Gandhi family will be questioned, the Congress will be questioned, Congress leaders will be questioned, or other opposition leaders will be questioned.
Okay, I'm going to get your point.
Like there's a famous saying, आप मोदी जी को join कर लीजिए, आपके सारे पाप धुल जाएंगे, क्योंकि आप गंगा नहा लेंगे.
Shweta, this is the point. ऐसा तो नहीं है, and is it really possible that all the corruption is there in TMC, Congress, and does not hit the BJP? Because there's a list which has been put out by Radhika Khera that they are those alleged scams and corruption. But there's not even an iota or investigation or interrogation in that. Shweta, would you want to respond to that? Yes, Shweta, go ahead.
Of course. Pallavi ji, first and foremost, I think, I heard Pallavi ji out and I just want to ask a couple of questions. Do you know who PVS Sharma is? Of course, Radhika ji does not know. Do you know who Om Prakash Jaiswal is? Of course, Radhika ji does not know. Do you know who was this Yadurappa ji's son's colleague who was questioned? All these three people are BJP leaders in the states like UP, Gujarat, and Karnataka, who are still under custody and they are being questioned. What is the harm in questioning? Why is Radhika ji so bothered about questioning? Central agencies are supposed to question. If you are,
I don't think she's objecting. To be fair to her,
yes,
she's not objecting to questioning. She's saying selective questioning. Shweta ji, please, she's talking about selective questioning. Please answer that.
Yes, then what is the point? I just gave you names. I'm telling you that what is the point if you are, why are you scared of the central agencies? I have two top leaders like Amit Bhai Shah and Narendra Modi ji who have been time and again questioned by central agencies when their government was there in the center, and they have come out flying colors after 20 years. They've proven themselves in court. Why are you so scared? I'll tell you why Sanjay Raut is scared. Sanjay Raut is scared because he has assets worth 115 crores in his wife's name. You work in a media agency.
To be fair to him, we've been watching.
Okay,
Shweta ji,
he's an editor of a magazine.
Okay.
How
to
do
be
you
fair
think
to
he
him,
collected
I am not. He
115
looks anything
crores?
but scared. He looks anything but scared. Maybe he's brazening it out for a reason. Shweta, I'll just come back to you.
You should look at his face. He was shit scared.
No. I looked at his face. He didn't look scared, and that is also part of the problem. That is, Shweta. Shweta, I got your wait. Shweta, I got your point. I have to go across to my other guest. Shweta, please. I will come back to you. Let me just go across to other guests. He didn't look scared. That's the part of the problem. He didn't look scared. Mr. Puj, that's what I want to ask you. Is he going to use these allegations to score a political point? I mean, after all, 10 hours of questioning. He could have quietly gone to an ED office. He comes out of his car. He flaunts his saffron stole. Then he's getting into ED office. Suddenly he comes out. Lamba sound bites. I want to be arrested. I'm going inside to be arrested. All of this could have been done without so much of display of show. Is he doing it because Shiv Sena is suffering from an existential crisis? And you think that this in ED, arrest, detention, whatever, can be used by the Uddhav Thackeray faction to actually survive? Mr. Punj.
पल्लवी जी देखिए सबसे पहले तो ये है कि बिकॉज यहाँ पे मैं कह रहा हूँ वाई द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट और वाई द दिस एजेंसीज आर वेरी लीनियंट विद द ये यामिनी यादव प्रताप सरनायक एंड भावनी गवली एंड ओनली वन पर्सन दैट इज संजय राउत बिकॉज उन्होंने इनके खिलाफ जहाँ तक बोला है तो कहीं ना कहीं जो आपका आज मैं देख भी रहा था तो आपने बिल्कुल सही का लिखा कि बिकॉज इट्स अ पॉलिटिकल वेंडेटा तो पॉलिटिकल वेंडेटा में अगर राजनीतिक प्रतिशोध है अगर आपको लगता है कि राजनीति के अंदर इस प्रकार का प्रतिशोध है तो ऑब्वियस है आप कहीं ना कहीं ऐसे आप किसी शख्स को आप इस प्रकार से प्रताड़ित करेंगे उसको आप इस तरह से कटघरे में खड़ा करेंगे तो ये अच्छी बात नहीं है एक अच्छी शासन के लिए सत्ताधारी पार्टी है भारतीय जनता पार्टी और हमने कई मुद्दों पे उनको सपोर्ट किया है तो ऐसा नहीं है और वही संजय राउत जी आज उनकी बातें इनको बुरी लग रही होंगी आज ये इनको लग रहा है कि ये ऐसा बोल रहे हैं या वैसा बोल रहे हैं वो ठीक है कईयों की आदत होती है स्पष्ट बोलना सही बोलना तो ठीक है उन्होंने कुछ ऐसा बोला लेकिन इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि पॉलिटिकल वेंडेटा की तरह आप उनसे प्रतिशोध की भावना रखेंगे या इस प्रकार से रखेंगे या एजेंसी सिर्फ कुछ लोगों के ऊपर ही उंगली उठाना इस प्रकार से जारी रखेंगे तो ये नहीं होना चाहिए सबके लिए समांतर होना चाहिए सबके लिए बराबर होना चाहिए बिकॉज यूर इन इंडिया यहाँ पे ऐसा कोई तालिबानी नहीं है कि आप किसी एक को नॉमिनेट कर लेते हैं उसके ऊपर आप फैसला सुना देंगे या उसको लाभ ले जाएंगे तो मैं यहाँ पे केंद्रीय एजेंसियां जो हमारे कार्य करती हैं उनको तो बिल्कुल उंगली उठाता चाहे वो सीबीआई हो ईडी हो या एनसीबी हो एवरी उनको बिल्कुल अधिकार है इस प्रकार से किसी को भी कटघरे में खिलाफ उनके खिलाफ बोलना
Okay. Now, let's come back to all of you. Before I go across to Chandrasekhar Nene, I just want to get in a word from Mr. S.M. Khan. Mr. Khan, I remember when we used to come, the few times we used to come to a CBI headquarters, we would often come across you. The rate of conviction of ED and CBI investigations are supposed to be quite low in comparison to a number of investigations or interrogations they carry on. Which is why the critics and the cynics say that CBI ED is only used arbitrarily to score political points. You've been associated with the entire setup and a network over there. You think the image of an ED and a CBI has taken a hit because of the low rate of convictions? Mr. Khan, if you can hear me. Mr. Khan, if you can, yeah. Okay, I'm going to try and connect back to Mr. Khan in a bit. In the meanwhile, let me just get in a word from Chandrasekhar. You know, we know why the Shiv Sena, or rather Sanjay Raut, is saying what he's saying. You know, there are pictures of him meeting his mother, and then before he's going to an ED office, you know, waving his saffron stole, saying, I'm not scared, and, you know, let them put me in custody for as long as they want. Do you think the Shiv Sena, the Uddhav faction, is going through a crisis of survival? And this could be possibly their last chance. They try and cling to their cadre, or you think the fact that Raut may be officially arrested actually scare his cadre and there could be a more exodus? In that sense, is it a churning process in Maharashtra politics?
Yes. Actually, the bravado Mr. Raut is showing is what he has been doing all this while along. And today, the party which Mr. Raut belongs to, the Uddhav Thackeray faction of Shiv Sena, is more and more desperate because a major portion of their elected representatives are already defected from the party, in thought, if not in deed. They are already on the other side. And with Mr. Raut's arrest, it is going to, the whole house of cards looks to be tumbling very fast. Let me bring you to one point which nobody is mentioning here. The people who are affected because of the Patra Chawl scam are 672 residents of the Patra Chawl who were evicted from their places. Their place was demolished and it was supposed to be built by that company, Guru Ashish Construction, which is run and owned by a friend of Mr. Sanjay Raut, one Mr. Praveen Raut. Okay. Now, I must bring this to your notice. The 672 people, 672 families, 80% are middle class Marathi families. Middle class Marathi family का पैसा लूटा गया है by so-called Shiv Sena, which is actually Marathi people's savior. Nobody is bringing this fact out. Nobody is talking about those residents who are just hanging loose. उनको rent देना था. Even that rent has not been paid for 2.5 years.
Yes.
You look at the pathetic situation.
Chandrasekhar ji, you know, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm going to keep coming back to you. Shweta, I'll just come to you in a bit because we've reconnected with Mr. S.M. Khan. Mr. Khan, the question which I was asking you earlier was, and I know we used to meet you when we used to go to the CBI office, the fact is the conviction rate is quite low as far as ED and the CBI is concerned. So there is this perception which has built up by its cynics is that, you know, it's only a case of political witch hunt, arbitrarily misuse, use, whatever of it, because the convictions are not as high as the number of investigation interrogations, then how can you say that ED and the CBI is above vote? My question to you then, Mr. Khan, is do you think because of this low rate of convictions, comparatively, the image of ED and the CBI has been hit?
Thank you, Pallavi. And this is a very relevant question. It has been asked for many years now about the investigating agencies like CBI and ED. The conviction rate is low. But you see, conviction rate depends on so many facts and circumstances which are part of our administration of criminal justice system. Because CBI and ED, they come into picture whenever there is a prima facie case or when there are allegations, and then they investigate and comes with a charge sheet if the allegations according to them are true, and if the allegations are not correct, they close the case. But the problem is that when the case is filed in the court, the conviction depends on so many facts, documentary as well as the oral evidence. And oral evidence, there are a large number of witnesses in every trial, and in every case of CBI and ED, there is a plethora of documents. All documents have to be proved, and it takes really a very, very long time. And sometimes a number of witnesses, they become hostile because of the long pendency of trial. Either they are influenced by the other people or they themselves forget so many things. And the trial goes on for many years. So it is not only the fault of the investigating agency that finally the conviction is not secured. It depends on so many other things, and which we need to improve our administration of criminal justice system. The only thing which has been improved now is there are more courts. And there are more courts to try the cases of MPs and MLAs and other political people. So slightly now the trials are not taking that long as it used to take earlier, 10 years, 15
That's a very, very valid point.
years.
The slow rate of investigations and the long trials are one of the reasons why the convictions are low. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to, before
Yes.
I wind up this
Yes,
debate tonight,
that's
I'm
why
just
the
going to give,
conviction.
So that's a very valid point. So that's why perhaps the reforms are required. Before I just start winding up, I'm going to give a quick last 2 words. One to Radhika and one to Shweta. Please, and if you just hurry up to you first. You wanted to say something, Shweta. We are already running out of time, so you'll have to be very brief. I want to give the last word also to Radhika. Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to add on what Chandrasekhar ji said. Chandrasekhar ji spoke about the 672 people. I must remind you that MADA, after losing all that money, this is the money that was sold. The FSI was sold to 9 builders. After post this 2021, MADA again said that I'm going to now rebuild it. And who inaugurated this Siddharth Nagar property? Uddhav Thackeray ji himself and Sharad Pawar ji.
Okay.
You know who both of them were close to, and nobody needs to guess that.
Okay. Shweta, I gave you the word. We'll have to wait for those investigations to take place. Radhika, my last word and this final question to you is that if you've done nothing wrong, then just go through that investigation. Why so much of fuss about it? Yes, Radhika, please.
Pallavi, let me very quickly tell you that the BJP spokespersons are living in fool's paradise when they think that the Congress or any other opposition leader is scared. Well, they must be probably face readers and they can decide on their own, but they're living in fool's paradise. No one is scared. We are joining every investigation, but you have also seen the way Sonia Gandhi ji, who is, you know her age, she is a very dignified lady and she has not been keeping well, and the way the ED has been questioning her on a case that was already closed.
Fair, but the ED
and now
also
because
gave a
of
lot
Mr.
of
Subramanian Swamy, it has been...
So if she is Gandhi, you think the central agency...
Please, madam, I'm sorry.
I interjected.
No,
I
you can have
interjected.
CBI
Yes, Radhika, go ahead.
culture in your...
Yeah, so see, this is what is there. They think that they can bully...
Well.
Whether it is their spokespersons or the government, they think they can bully their way
Shweta
out.
ji, please,
I am sorry, that is not going to happen.
You think I'm going to keep quiet when
when she was quiet when you were speaking, Radhika was quiet when you were speaking, Shweta. It's not fair. It's just, no, I'm sorry, but this is just not fair. No. This is not fair. Shweta, come on. When you were speaking, no one was speaking. Why is it that you can't let her speak? You can disagree with her. Radhika, quickly, because we really have to wind up.
Empty vessels make the most
Radhika,
noise.
Please, can
they
you
are
not get
to
into this personal narrative? Your point is that why are you targeting them, keeping in mind the health? I also don't completely agree with you because the ED also gave some concessions. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra was very much there. She had 3 days of investigations to take place. Finally, one word to you, Mr. Khan. You're talking about reforms. You're talking about the need that, the conviction rate is very low. So why is it that they're still waiting for those reforms to take place? Don't you think that urgency should be there now? One quick last word from you, Mr. Khan.
No, there should be urgency, and in fact, government of the day, the central government as well as the state government should take it on priority, and lot of things have to be done to improve the administration of criminal justice system so that all these trials, prosecutions, are decided at an early date, whether the person is to be convicted or acquitted.
Well, at least
I hope,
if nothing else, that the government takes note of this fact that there has to be some reforms in this sector. I'm really running out of time. I'm sorry to cut you short. Thank you very much, Mr. Khan. Thank you, Shweta. Thank you, Radhika. Also, thank you, Mr. Nene, to getting us, joining us this evening on whether this entire case is, and Mr. Punj, of course, for this political narrative of whether it's a case of political vendetta or is it the law running its own course. Thank you so much this evening. But staying with the news, we're going to talk about sports now, and it certainly has been good news as far as the Commonwealth Games goes. India has won its 5th medal. The Indian weightlifter Jeremy Ladrinunga won the gold medal in the men's 67 kg weightlifting. This is India's 2nd gold in Birmingham so far. Jeremy has created history by winning a gold medal with a record-breaking combined lift of 300 kgs in the men's 67 kg final. Meanwhile, Mirabai Chanu, who won the silver in the Tokyo Olympics, has also claimed a gold in the 49 kg category last night. Bindya Rani Devi won silver in the weightlifting in the 55 kg category. Sanket Sargar bagged a silver in the 55 kg category. Gururaj Pujari won a bronze in the 61 kg final. India's tally till now is 2 gold, 2 silver and a bronze.
गोल्ड मेडल मिला ये इसीलिए खुश है, लेकिन परफॉर्मेंस के लिए मैं खुश नहीं हूँ क्योंकि काफ़ी प्रिपेयर किया इसके लिए और मतलब ठीक है कि मतलब गोल्ड मेडल मिल गया है। पहले वार्मिंग अप में स्नेच तो बहुत अच्छा वार्मिंग अप चल रहा था और क्लीन एंड जर्क में हम जैसे ही स्टार्ट किया था तो मेरा मसल फ्रंट थाइस और इनर थाई क्रैम्प होने लग गया था। उसका वजह से वॉकिंग भी नहीं हो रहा था, वार्मिंग अप भी नहीं कर पाया था मैं वैसे ही इंडियन आर्मी से हूँ तो मैं सैल्यूट करता हूँ हर टाइम नेशनल एंथम बजता है तो बहुत अच्छा लगा मुझे, क्योंकि सबका जो हर एथलीट का सपना होता है कि बस हमारा पोडियम में हमारा नेशनल एंथम बजे, वही हुआ मेरा साथ भी, बहुत अच्छा लगा मुझे।
Well, a win is a win and they certainly have done India proud. That's it for me from now. Thank you so much for watching, but news continues over here on CNN.